Our lawsuit helped a lady get asylum. Hi, I'm Jim Hacking, immigration lawyer practicing law throughout the United States out of our offices in St. Louis, San Diego, and Washington, D.C. In today's video, we've got some really exciting news. We were approached by a young lady originally from Pakistan who has been in the United States for a pretty long time, and she filed for asylum back in June of 2016. So at the time of the filing of the lawsuit, she had been waiting 6 years, almost 7 years, for an interview on her asylum case. Now, when you apply for asylum, you submit all of your evidence and you're supposed to have a hearing. But there's this window of cases from roughly 2015 to 2017 that have never had an interview. There was a big backlog at USCIS, and what they decided to do was to try to stop the bleeding and stop the delays and to interview people who had recently filed. And now there's this gap of 3 or 4 years, 2 or 3 years, where people have not had their interview, and they've been waiting for 6, 7, 8 years. So this young lady filed for asylum. She feared going back to Pakistan. She feared being persecuted for several different reasons. She had a human trafficking claim, a religious conversion claim, and an FGM claim, female genital mutilation claim. So these were all very important claims, but she simply couldn't get in the door. She couldn't get the asylum office to interview her. So she called our intake team. She talked to them about the situation. She talked to one of our lawyers on our intake team, and they said, yeah, you've been waiting way too long. We think a lawsuit would help you. So she thought about it for a little bit, and then she decided to hire us to sue the asylum office to try to get her interview and a final decision on her long-delayed case. So we filed suit back in March of 2023, and we then sent copies of the lawsuit to all the defendants. Our lawsuit team, Pod L, did a great job getting the lawsuit on file relatively quickly. They pointed out that this agency had more than 6 years to decide the case and that they had done nothing to decide the case. So we filed the lawsuit in the Northern District of Georgia. We sent copies of the lawsuit to all the defendants. And once they were served, the local U.S. attorney in the Northern District of Georgia entered his appearance and said, hey, we're going to schedule this young lady for an interview. Now, when we do an asylum case, typically before we file the lawsuit, we also look at the underlying case and say to ourselves, could we make this better? How can we make this better? And so she hired us not only to file the lawsuit, but she also hired us to take over the asylum case. Now, those are two different contracts, two different legal fees, but she knew that she needed to update her case to make her case stronger. And so we spent several weeks making the case stronger, getting it ready for an interview, and then we filed the lawsuit. And when we filed the lawsuit, like I said, things got moving very quickly. She did, in fact, get scheduled for an interview, and my wife, Amani, ended up handling that interview. And it was a long interview, and it was a hard interview at the Arlington Asylum Office. And we just got word that almost 7 years after she had filed for her asylum case, that the lawsuit worked, that she got a final decision. And of course, when we file the lawsuit, we don't know what that decision will be. We're just pretty sure that when you've been waiting 7 years, no one's going to say you haven't waited long enough. And they just went ahead and approved her case. So we're very happy for her. Now, lawsuits on long-delayed asylum cases are different than other kinds of lawsuits, and I want to emphasize that in several ways. One is we filed 2 of these lawsuits at roughly the same time. One person got approved and one person got denied. So here I've told you the story of the approved case, but we had a similar case we thought was very strong. We filed a lawsuit and the case got denied. So when we talk to people about filing a lawsuit against USCIS, what we talk about is you're sort of going all in. You're saying that you want to take that chance. You want to know what's going to happen. You want a final decision, and you want to start your immigration journey. Because remember, for those 6 or 7 years, you're not accruing any credit. It's not going towards your citizenship. It's not doing anything to move your case forward. So she was really stuck. And of course, she was very happy, very grateful for Tim and the team that helped put together the case, and for Amani, my wife, for getting the interview scheduled and approved, and then to Pod L for the lawsuit team for actually getting the case moving. So it's a great success for the client, and for us, we're really happy. So if you have an asylum case that's been stuck, a lawsuit could probably help you. If you've been waiting 3, 4, 5 years, USCIS is very unlikely to want to argue or fight the case or say that you haven't waited long enough. So we have filed hundreds and hundreds of immigration delay lawsuits. At the time of this recording, we're well over 1,600 lawsuits that we have filed against USCIS and or the State Department for immigration delays, and we'd love to help you if your case has been stuck. So feel free to give us a call, 314-961-8200, or email us info@hackingimmigrationlaw.com if you're wanting to hire us to file a lawsuit for you. We can usually get it on file in a week or two and get your case moving. If you're just looking for information or want to ask questions, we have a Facebook group called Immigrant Home. You can go in there or discuss your situation, see what other people going through the similar cases are experiencing, what delays they're seeing at field offices, at service centers, at embassies. Or you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Whenever we make new videos like this one, you'll get alerted. And we also have a great resource for you called the Immigration Answer Show, which you can find by searching for it on YouTube. We come live 3 or 4 times a week, and it's just me answering immigration questions for an hour at a time, and I really enjoy the Immigration Answer Show. So lots of resources for you. But again, if you want to sue USCIS for a delayed asylum case, we'd be happy to help you. 314-961-8200. Thanks a lot.